Hey, how are you today? Happy Mother's Day. Hope you guys are having an incredible day. It is now about midday. It's actually 2 p.m. on a Sunday. And I just wanted to go on here to do a little Facebook Live regarding Mother's Day, but most likely, I don't want to even just talk about today's Mother's Day, but just today, I just hope, and anyone that's listening, especially mothers, that you actually take a day out for you today and really look after yourself. And hey, Donna, and just put yourself first for at least just one day, okay? And this is something I wanted to address as well, is that, society often don't talk about how incredible mothers are, and I think just every single one of us, and they just want to get you to be reminded on a special occasion so that they you could buy a gift or you could spend the money. That's putting back the money to the economy. But when you realize your own self-worth, and that that you are doing this life for yourself, and that people need you, hey Rav, people actually need you to show up as your best, and that you don't need today to remind you that it's your day today, that every single day it's your day, then thank you so much, so that that you are worthy, and you don't need today to be reminded that you are their mothers every single day. And if we truly live to the best of our ability and to true to our heart, then you don't need today to receive that present from your kiddos or your husbands or your special someone to know that they care for you, because they do. And I think what's really important is that we don't know how to express our true feelings even to ourselves, so then we then kind of resent and then wonder why other people are not doing it to us. But if we start to show ourselves true love and start to show ourselves that true self-worth that we really are, then we're going to start to show other people, or they're going to take that cue from us and say that is how you should be treated every single day. And you don't need to be bought into this campaign that you gotta buy this for your mom, or you gotta spend this money for them so that you can show that you care today. Hey Paul, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So what I wanted to share with you today is that, if every single day you just take that a little amount of time out and not, to really face that triggers inside of you, that guilt that we normally feel. I put my hand up for that, because the moment when I started to look and then start to love on myself and start on this self-love journey, that's when I truly heal. And that's when I truly to become this self-confident person that, I know a lot of, I get a lot of messages offline to say, how do you do it? How do you, don't feel the guilt? How do you not feeling shame? How do you, how do you just live the way you do? And I just say to them is that I think it's because they need to start to, really face that program that start to pop up every single time they start to do something for themselves, is that we've been reminded over and over again, and unconsciously, because people don't know that they're doing it. But I know when they walk away, they feel bad. Because that's what I used to do as well. I just say something and I walk away, I'm like, I don't really feel good about saying that, right? But that, when you start to take back that power and start to pour the love back on yourself, what you're going to be able to give to your children and your partner and even your friends, and you can become, that's what, the best friend, the best husband, the best wives, and today I just want to specifically say to the mothers, because I know that us mums go through so much, and that there's this stigma that mums have to sacrifice ourselves for our kids. And that is true in a sense, is that we did sacrifice our bodies to pop out these kids, and at the end of the day we think that people are judging us, so then we use that judgment and we judge ourselves, not necessarily they are judging us, right? So at the moment when we start to take back that that power and say we own the feeling that this is how we feel, and not judging the feeling of guilt. Does that make sense? So when we start to feel the guilt, instead of judging that we're feeling the guilt, just take a look at it and say, why do I feel like that? What triggered that for me to actually feel like that? So when you start to go, well, I feel like that because if I spend $30 on my nails, that means that oh my goodness, why do I have to look good? right? Why, like, who's like, you know, one of the programming that I used to have in my head was, oh, you know, once I'm married, I don't need to look good anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, you know, if he loves me, then I don't need to show up anymore. But that's very disempowering. It's because, did you just do that so that he can marry you? Did you just do that so that you can have the approval of him loving you? Did you just show up beautifully and amazingly so that he could accept you? So you never wanted to look good for yourself. So does that make sense? If we start to look at it that way, then we start to go, oh shit, everything I used to do was for an external validation. Because if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be married. If I didn't do that, then I wouldn't have a kid for my own. Does that make sense? But if we go, well, actually, no, I look good because I want to look good, because I want to show up for myself. I want to look good in the mirror and I want to be happy with myself. This is my true expression. This is how I feel. Like, I want to look good. Not like, oh yeah, I because it's too vain if I look good, right? Then you start to go, all those guilt that people are trying to make you feel is because they don't want to feel that way. Therefore, they project that on you. So never feel guilty for somebody else to tell you, for example, you know, oh yeah, you never visit me, but at the same time they don't visit you. Does that make sense? So, you know, and it doesn't really matter if it's your family, if it's your you know, anybody that's close to you. No one has the right to tell you how to live your life, okay? But I never really, like, I was never like this. I had to learn my way through. So the pain are the trigger points for you to show you where you are not free. So when those people used to tell me, you know, like, especially my family in the past, and say, you know, oh yeah, you know, you don't care about me, like, you never visit me, right? And I used to feel so guilty. I was like, oh my goodness, I never visit them. Yeah, so maybe I should feel up. But every single time when I try to, like, show up and visit them, I would feel like I don't like to be around them because they're so toxic. Toxic is as if they're not a good person, but it's like they're not in alignment with who I am. They're not in alignment with, you know, where I'm going. Like, I'm so conscious of what I say. I'm so conscious about what I do, but they're not. So that means that we're not in alignment. It doesn't mean they're not a good people, okay? Because I don't think that any one of us is going out there to recklessly hurt other people, right? But when someone is hurting you, their hurt is spilling. They're hurting so much that their hurt is actually spilling out onto you. Does that make sense? That's why when we inspire people, we want to inspire them with the way we live, not necessarily the things that we own. Because the way we live, if we feel ourselves full of love, we are going to spill out with so much love. We're going to spill out because we can see they're struggling. We can see that they're wounded. And when they're wounded, we're not going to tell them to their face, hey, you're wounded, you're triggered. Hey, this is the trigger. You need to look at this. No, you don't do that. Because if you do that, and they're like, to them, what they're feeling right now is valid because they're going through it. Their vibration, their frequency, their level right now, it makes sense for them to go through that. But because you are self-aware and you are conscious, you are not going to go there and poke into their wound, right? Then you're not going to go poke, hey, this is where you wounded. Then like that's not healthy either. When they come to terms with it, and when they are able to, you know, get over it, maybe that's when you feel into it and see if it's a right time for you to give the advice, okay? But the Facebook Live today, I want to share with you guys is that, you know, when people say doing your best does not mean driving yourself to mental breakdown, because that's what I used to do, and thinking, you know, this is sacrifice. I'm sacrificing myself, so therefore I should be loved. And what happens when you sacrifice to the point where there's no return and you don't receive back from other people? You start to resent the other person. You start to resent your partner. You start to resent your kids. And that's why I do believe that a lot of us, you know, were like, our parents wanted to pin their goals and dreams onto us because they drove themselves to insanity. So therefore, for them to like, that's why the children feel like that burden to have to give back to their to their caregivers, so that, you know, look, mom, I know you sacrificed so much, let me do this for you. So again, we're repeating that vicious cycle that we want to get out of so much. Does that make sense? So if you are here and you're a mom, or if you have kids, it's so important that you need to take care of yourself first. And it doesn't matter if the kids think that you are, thanks, Ralph. If you think that you are being selfish, and even if your kids tell you that you're selfish, you say, yeah, I'm selfish. I am. Because you know what, baby? I don't want you to take care of me. You have your own burdens to take care of. You have your own challenges too. Let me show you that. Let me fill my own cup so that I can, every single time I'm around you, I will be happy and share with you. And if I'm in need of support, then I ask for you for help. I never wanted to guilt you to feel like you have to do anything for me, right? And that is something that I wanted to share with you, and I wanted to invite you to just really sit with whatever it is that you're going through and see how much of that energy that you're giving back to yourself, instead of like pouring that love onto somebody else, that you can forget about yourself. Does that make sense? Because the moment that when you pour all that energy, all that goodness, all that intention, all that intention and attention to yourself, then what you're gonna give out, what you're gonna radiate is love, okay, is care, is positive energy. And that's what people love to be around, okay? No one wants to be around someone that depletes their energy. And you will deplete the energy when you are empty, because you will do it unconsciously, because we this body here is just an energy container. Does that make sense? So, if you feel like getting your nails done, please do it. If you feel like, put your makeup on, please do it. Like today, I'm like, you know what? I want to look good today, right? I want to, today, I feel like I'm myself. Today, I feel like this is me. This is my true full expression. Like my hair, this hair is my hair. And I went back to see the hairdresser today because I was hanging out with the kid's dad, and the kid's dad, getting a haircut. And I was like, you know what? Because my hair is black, so when she bleach it, it's very now it's very thin, and I like it this way. And this is who I am. So this is the best that I can look like for me, okay? And so thanks, Mia. So then therefore, if that is what you love, say it, do it, and it doesn't matter what people think about you. If they judge you, then you know that they're hurting too. It's because they are too afraid that you're gonna judge them, so they judge you first. And you're gonna be okay with it, because if you start to understand that everyone's point of view is valid, then you never have to worry about what everyone else thinks, right? Because everyone is entitled to their own thinking. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So if today you feel like getting your hair done, if today you feel like, you know what, fuck everything, I'm just gonna have a nap, I'm gonna sleep in today, and the kids can watch Netflix all day or whatever, do that. You when you are at the mental breakdown, you are not serving anybody. Do you hear me? When you are depressed, you can't serve anybody. All you're giving them, no one wants to be around you anyway, because you're so depressed. You're so depressing. Your energy is toxic. That's what I mean by toxic as well. That's what I mean by people with toxicity, right? But you don't tell them that they're toxic, because when they're wounded, when they're hurting, they don't even know where they're hurting. Does that make sense? So the best way to live our lives is to be your own goodness, to be your own self-savior first, so that when you're around toxic people, at least they feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Does that make sense? So everything has to start with you. You have to look after yourself first. You need to pour the love into you first, and then whatever that you have left over, or whatever you're left over, all the energy that you're pouring out when you're around other people, that's when you're living your truth. That's when you're giving love, because that's true love, because you are love. Does that make sense? So I hope that makes I hope that makes sense, first of all. And happy Mother's Day to everyone else. And please today, just take care of yourself. And I would hope that this is not the only day of the year that you are taking care of yourself, but take regular care of yourself, that every single week you would take some time out. Every single week I would have my bath time for myself. Right? I meditate every single day, because that's me time. That is a non-negotiation time. So every single day, thanks, Matt David, I would take time out of myself. I will, reflect within. That's like whenever, the reason why you reflect within is that you can't change the form that's already happened. So for example, this pillow here, I can't say, hey, I want you to turn orange. Can you turn orange? You can't, right? So why do we always try to fix another person? Why do we always try to go out and fix someone else to make us feel better? Okay, but we know that what's in here it starts from within, because that pillow that was gray was once in someone else's mind as gray pillow, right? So then they manifested this. So therefore, if you want everything else to be changed from the outside, in your condition, then you must understand that it has to come from here, because everybody is experiencing their own reality that they create. The moment when you take that power back and say that this is, I created this, even though the shit hits the fan, then you have the power to change that. But the moment when you say that, you know what, that's someone else's fault, that's why I'm suffering this way, then you can't change it. You can't change the way you feel until that person changes their actions or their behavior. And how powerlessness is that you're living in. Okay, so take back all that power to yourself. Whatever that you want the other person to deliver to you, give that to yourself first, because you are who you've been looking for. So once you have that, then that's when you have so much you can give to other people without caring they're reciprocating it from, because you know how to empower yourself from within, right? Empowerment is like you're aligning the power within yourself, which is your God or goddess power, for the source power that's within you that created you, right? That's when that's true power. That's powerful, right? So yeah, it starts with self-care. Self-care meaning that removing yourself from toxic places, people, situations, and then, hey Jeff, and then, really putting back that power within yourself, and that, go and make yourself happy. Make yourself happy every single day. And then whoever that's judging you, they don't understand, because those understand will never judge, and those judge will never understand. So you never have to convince them. The only person that you need to please is yourself, because once you are pleased, the only thing you can give back to other people is love, because you're pouring love, so much overflowing love out of your heart and onto other people. And that's the positive energy that everyone wants to be around, not toxic energy. Why do you think those people have toxic energy? Because they're empty. So when you judge people for having toxic energy, then that means that you have toxicity as well. Okay, so start with you, pour it yourself first, make yourself happy, get your hair done, get your makeup on, get your nails done, have a massage, have a bath, go out, like watch yourself, watch a movie by yourself. I mean, I did that yesterday. Do things like that, right? And the moment you keep on maintaining like that, I guarantee you your situation will change, because I am speaking from experience, not an intellectual thinking or thought or concept, but this is that's just how I live. Okay, and I wanted to dedicate my life to inspiring people with the way I live, not the things that I own, because I do believe that it's a lot harder to, because I'm trying to teach my kids to learn from those that have what they want, rather than just those that just read from a book, from a textbook, and then trying to teach, okay, and get them to incorporate that, integrate into their being, because all the things, all the stuff that I'm going through are the common things that everyone goes through. And if I don't overcome that, then I can't really teach them or show them how to live, right? So please take the time out for yourself today, and if you are the fathers here, and have a wife or a mom or a mother, look after them today, because they spent all their lives trying to look after you. Okay, so when you do that, and again, when you're so full, you are happily willing to give a hand, because you're like, let me care for you, because I want to, not like, oh my God, and that's the kind of energy that you don't want. It's like so forceful. But if every single day you're like watering yourself constantly, and then you have another person that's put themselves first as well, then you both you just want to share, because the cup is overflowing. It's so beautiful, right? Rather than it's like no, you need to do what I tell you to do, because otherwise I'll be broken. That's toxic energy, right? Even just those words, I have to cleanse myself, right? So take the time out today, not just today. Hopefully you do it every single week or so, like a regular regime where you put yourself first and then your kids, okay? Because when you're mental, you can't really help anybody, and your kids don't benefit from that anyway, okay? They're gonna feel that burden. All right, so have a great day, and I will speak to you later. Mwah. Love you all. Happy Mother's Day.